So you actually have got your setup figured out. You know pretty much where you want to go with your live set. You know pretty much what kind of an artist you are, or at least want to be. And now it's time to get that show on the road. Well, this is what you need to get booked at festivals. I guess that's today's video. So let's go do it right now. Hey, check it out, I'm Analog Kitchen and thank you for checking out yet another video. Now, if this is your first time here, don't hesitate to click subscribe and hit that notification bell. Whenever I upload a new video, you'll be kept in the loop and you will not miss out on anything. Stick around till the end of this video, I'll tell you all about the Kitchen Club, tell you all about Discord, tell you about the new challenges that are coming up. I thought to do a video on preparing yourself for a techno festival. But then I thought, okay, well, you need to have gigs first, you know what I mean? So to prepare for a festival means you have to get some gigs first. How to get some gigs? That was another thing. And I started to think, how did I get gigs in the beginning? What was it that I did? Now, there's a few things that I think of when getting gigs, even now. And there's a few things that you really need to just do musically. So this video is chopped up into segments. One is a little bit more of the hands-on kind of vibe on what to do musically to get gigs, what does your music need to contain in order for a promoter to pick up on. But first, let's dive into what I do think you need to stick out. You have to, when you speak to a promoter, explain very vividly and clearly on what it is that you are. So when we're not talking DJ sets here, we're talking dollar sets. Now there's a difference because most promoters, they don't really know what a dollar set is. There's a few things that you need to do in order for you to stand out and in order for a promoter to pick you up. This starts with you. It starts with you explaining to the promoter, this is what I want to be. This is what you can expect if you book me. This is how much space I would need. This is the sound that I'm going to just portray. This is what I want to do. Now, there's a few things that go beforehand. It's cool to tell the promoter who you are, but it's also cool that if you've done your homework, you know exactly what it is that they're looking for. Ballpark. You're not supposed to copy everything. You just need to make sure that they see value in you being there as an artist. To get a gig is not that hard. To get multiple gigs is harder. To get multiple gigs with the same organization, even harder. So what you would need to do is figure out, where is my musicality going in the course of a year to 2 years? Where do I see myself in 2 years? Aim for that big gig and work your way up to that. That's what I would do. Would explain very clearly on who you are and what you think that you can bring to the table. So knowing your gear, knowing yourself, knowing your sound is absolutely amazing, because you cannot ask a promoter to book you if you are still in the honeymoon period trying to figure out your gear, trying to figure out your sound. That doesn't work. Also, find a similar sound to the festival you want to play at. It doesn't work out if you say, this is what I'm going to do, and you end up doing something else. It's not so much a problem when you're DJing, but with a dollar set, sometimes the starting point could be different from the end point, because with gear, with the different outboard boxes, you sometimes get inspired in a different way. So the whole destination is completely different from the starting point, the point of origin. Know what kind of position in a day you would like to occupy as well. It's cool to headline, but headlining a festival is a lot of pressure. There is not so much room to make a mistake. Just tell the promoter, like, listen, I know what I'm doing, but you know what? Stick me in a spot where you know we can build something together. Cross-pollinate your sounds. Festivals are cool to try stuff out on. If a club is not catered to live musicians, they probably want you to do some sort of a DJ kind of approach. So it means that there's less experimentation right there. So what you would want to happen is that you know what you would do. Cross-pollinate sounds. Get a hip-hop beat to sit on top of a reggae bass line. Get a techno sound to go with a poppy vocal snippet. I don't know, you know, just try something different. Chances are promoters that are not musicians most of the time just want to sell drinks. They hear something they know, they'll more likely going to say, wow, I love the fact that I hear something that is recognizable to me. And the crowd does that as well. So chances are they'll just like have you on more often because you are not trying to just like be this original cat trying to just do something new. Most of the time, a festival costs like up to $200,000, $300,000. So if they are going to put you on and give you a spot, what they would like to see from you is something to think with them. Connect with the promoter beforehand and with the sound people. Try and embed yourself within the organization as soon as you can. Try and speak to the people, to the powers that be, the sound tech being your best friend. They need to understand what it is that you would like to just sound like. So this again is a lot of homework, because if you don't know that, you cannot explain it to them. And if you can explain it to them, you're probably going to end up sounding like shit. And what you would want, if you have the advantage of having analog gear at your disposal, make the most of it. Make the most of the sound guy. I was playing at this festival, the Achtertuin, the other day, and my compliment of the day was that the sound tech just comes with me and says, unbelievable. I did not have to tweak any kind of sound. I did not have to tweak anything. This sounded so amazing. What did you do? And I had to tell him, well, for one, I didn't EQ anything. I just didn't compress anything. I just leveled everything and I stuck it out of a DM12 Midas mixer. Okay, well, if you want to improve something, that might be the place. But to be honest, you sound so much better than the USB DJs that are playing after you. This to me is a compliment, because I knew exactly what my sound was going to be like, because I've really stressed myself in leveling everything to a correct, neat level. And when he got it, it was like he could just like blast the shit out of everything. And that was exactly what I wanted. So that's another tip. Underpromise and overdeliver. Don't say you are going to be like Carl Cox combined with Hernan Catano and Sasha and Digweed and Taylor Voss all wrapped into one, and you end up just not knowing your shit. You know what I mean? Just say, this is what I'm going to be, and hold back a little bit. Make sure that when you get there, it's even better. So they think they got 9 and you give them 15. This is a very, very strong point, because if you make sure that you know something that the promoter doesn't know, but would translate to the crowd, and the crowd will go like, oh my God, this act was amazing. That's when you got a foot in the door. And with one gig, you get more gigs. So this first gig is a very important one to just nail. You know, when you hit the ball needs to get out of the stadium. It's not just like hitting the ball and, oh yeah, home run. No, it needs to just like get into the stratosphere. Is very important. So the first thing to also keep in mind is to underpromise, overdeliver. Yeah, don't sell yourself too low, but at the same time, don't be, yeah, I'm going to just like turn water into wine here. You know, that doesn't really work. A lot of people think, okay, you know, I've bled and I've conquered, so now it's my time. Patience is key here. Make sure that whatever you do, it's absolutely amazing. Nobody should ever doubt what's happening. If you're the new kid on the block, it means you will be scrutinized. What you cannot be scrutinized is whatever you do is absolutely amazing. And it sounds like the shit. That's what it needs to sound like. That's what it needs to be. From the minute you get to that festival, you need to look, feel, sound, and act the part. You need to be there. You don't need to be like an innocent bystander just tagging along for the ride. If you have that spot, own that spot. Be there or don't be there. You know, if you don't need to be there, don't be there. Also, if you don't have the gigs yet and you're focusing on getting gigs, don't be an annoyance. You know, don't be a Klingon and cling on to everyone that could probably help you further along the way.
I know, me! Oh, pick me!
Be your own identity and just focus on what it is that you would love to portray. People in this industry that's been in the industry for a long time, they really hate kiss asses. What they would like is for somebody to be as confident as they are, knowing exactly what their shortcomings are, but also knowing what their advantages are, and that's how you can work together. That's how you would definitely level everything, even everything out, and just get going with that. I think that those are the pointers that I would like to get into. Now we're going to see if we can combine a few elements into the music that everybody would know. So I'll probably play a bass line that is a little bit more familiar and see if we can stick some beats underneath and see if that's going to work. All right, you ready? Let's go do it. Hey gang, okay, so this is the Octatrack Mark I. It's connected to the MPC-1. The Blackbox is here as well, connected to the Octatrack. Then there's a MIDI fighter connected to the Blackbox. and the MPC is taking care of MIDI information, sending out MIDI to the subsequent, and sending out MIDI to the OB6. So that's how the setup today works. Then there's the DM12 small Midas mixer that's sitting over there, and that's how we are probably going to work it out. Now, what I have got is a track that is pretty simple. If I'm thinking I'm playing for the first time for a certain promoter, there's a few things that need to be embedded on my sound. Excuse. A few things that I want in my music. First of all, kick needs to be thick, hats needs to be bright enough. So let's play that. That's on track 1 and track 4, and that sounds like this. This sounds smooth. A big sound system would actually work. Like I said in the intro, this is the same kick and the hat that I used on my live set for Festival Achtertuin. Everybody was really over the moon with the way it sounded. Now, this sound system was absolutely amazing. So that worked. What I would want is some information that I can enter so that people instantly will turn heads or be inclined to listen to what my philosophy is going to be. How does this work? You've got fast information, you've got slow information. I'm doing it by means of arpeggios, and I'm using 2 arpeggios. So you've got one arpeggio that is more of a hamster wheel, gets people going, and then there's another one that is pretty much a chill out kind of vibe. So if people are laying in the grass when you're playing, if you're early on in the day, you might not want to overpower them with fast information too soon. So I've got a kick, I've got a hat, I've got a clap sitting on 3. Nice one. So this is also going where I need it to go. So I'm following the measure. 7, 8, 2, 3. This. Now, why is this slow information? It's because it goes over 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it takes 8 hits for the cycle to complete. This means that if people are walking, they can dance a lot before everything goes revolving back to the start. It's different with another arpeggio that only plays half of a bar, of a 4-beat bar, so 2 notes. It plays 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and I'll show you how that works. So I've got it sitting here on the Blackbox, and that sounds something like this. So if you need to speed stuff up, this would be how to do it, right? So if you see you're already moving, so if you're playing or you have to follow somebody and there's already a crowd standing there waiting for you to dance, you'll probably do this trick a little bit faster. So it's people, yeah, I'm liking this, yeah? So you're playing this, boom, 3, 4, so now you're gonna get the things going. Kick out, second arp. Filter it down a bit. Now, this is all nice and cool, all melodic techno kind of vibe. It's already going in the right direction. If you've got a steady bass, everything just on the 16th, right? So yeah, that works. It does its thing. But cross-pollination is where I think you can win a lot. Now, how does this work? It means you borrow stuff from a different style of music or a different sound or even a different track, something that you love the most. For me, it is Bruce Swedien, it's Michael Jackson, it's Quincy Jones. It's the 3 of them together coming up with really, really cool stuff. So, at one point, they had an album called Thriller. I think it's the best selling album ever. And that's the tracks on there were made to make you dance, to be honest. So if I'm listening to one track in particular, wanna be starting something, the arpeggio resembles that a little bit. So if I place that bass line, that gives you that instant sort of like, wanna be starting something, and I'm liking that kind of vibe. So what I'm going to do is play that bass line. But instead of the low note where the accent is within the Quincy Jones bass line, I'm going to change it for this note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. So there you go. Played it. It sounds familiar if you're from that era. If not, it still invokes a lot of familiarity, because, you know, this is the stuff that music's been leaning on. You know, tracks like that are the pivotal point in pop music culture, where, yeah, you know, a lot of generations got like fed with that stuff, you know. So I'm trying to embed it on my music, but it does a lot of things as well. So looking at sound design, if I'm going to take out both the Arps, I'm now going to see if I can get this bass line to be a little bit more in your face. So what I will do is some envelope generation. As you can hear, it becomes a little bit more percussive, and then even some noise on there maybe. Noise is on 2. Envelope generation, well, let's call it 2 o'clock, shall we? Lower the filter. Because if I'm taking out the hat and the clap, I want this bass line to be almost living on the same street, probably in the same house as the kick drum. It needs to be family, right? Why? Because this big sound system is going to help you out if you choose the sounds that you want to feed the speaker. The kick is already working, we've established that. So now we need to establish that the sounds that we're going to stick on fit there. If a DJ plays, if a promoter books a DJ, the DJs do stuff with records that everything sounds like one unified sort of thing, even to the point that I think it gets boring sometimes, but still it's the same thing. So what I see a lot of live acts do is it sounds so completely different. It's like all the different elements that get being thrown in the room are almost like, you know, somebody with a toupee that doesn't fit, you know, you can think the hair away. What you would want is everything to sit on the right spot. So the transient of the kick, the letter D, that attack, we want to have that on our bass line as well. So the subsequent obviously being one of those synthesizers with nice envelopes. And I'm gonna go in a little bit fast. Usually I would just like adjust the length of the notes, but for time purposes, let's just... Well, that slide is just doing my head in though. So what I'm going to do is going to be a little lazy. Just put the sequence on 4 beats. Sorted. Which means it's only playing the 4 first beats. You can see lines over the screen, so it's only playing this. Right, should have done that. Anyway, so looking at sound design. Even shortening the notes, lowering it a little bit. Needs to be percussive. That's what I want. So a little bit longer. There you go. Yep. So the notes need to be lengthy enough for them to work on the kick drum, but they shouldn't smear the whole bottom end of your track away, right? So let's see if we've done a great job. Let's save this first. Save it. Bam. So it's saved. Okay. Now take out the kick. And here we go. The kick. That happens sometimes. You know what I mean? Try to be smart. Okay, so kick, clap, hat, bass line, right? Now let's go back to how we can eliminate the Michael Jackson feeling. It needs to be there, but it doesn't need to be that audible. So what we would want is those two arpeggios that we were working with earlier, stick them in the beat at the same time. And if our percussive transient on the bass line works, it's going to get embedded within the arpeggio. Now the only thing you need to do is play around with the filter a little bit. If you've done your envelope generation right, it means that between 12 and 11 o'clock is where the sweet spot is for the bass line, for the intro portion of your track. By now, you're feeling the speakers cool stuff. I mean, I can guarantee you by now, people are already starting to get up and think like, oh yeah, I'm getting into the zone with this vessel, I'm liking it. There's a theme that I've got right here. If the people are zoning out or just need some attention, it's like, hey, I'm standing over here. You just play something like that, right? Cool. Now, what I would like to do is add more loops. As you see, you've added your stuff. I'm not really over producing the track. I'm not going to go like, I need more. No. I want the elements that are entering the room to be there. It's like a computer game. Once you kill the end boss, it's the next level. You don't want to be playing different levels. You know, you just want to focus yourself on one thing. So first we had drums, then we had bass, then we played arpeggios, or the other way around. This is pretty much where we need to go. There's loops involved. Take out the kick. Play around with the filter on the subsequent. If you see the promoter walking up to the DJ box thinking like, okay, I took a chance, I took a gamble with this artist, should it be, is it cool enough? You want to show something off, right? So you're playing around with your fancy smancy synth. It doesn't need to be the subsequent, obviously, it can be whatever, but it needs to be something that's interactive. You can do something DJs cannot, so make use of that. Loops in, 2, 3, go! Okay, so, and the loops that you're using, basically I've got a groove loop, I've got an electro loop, then I've got a shaker loop. This means 10 o'clock at night, 2 in the morning, or 4 in the morning, pretty much for me. So the louder the aggressive loops become, the more energetic my track will feel. Alright, so taking out the kick, with a little bit of reverb. Now I'm going to open up this and play crash and an effect. Nice. So that's the cross pollination. You can play whatever you want. You can play something else again, you know? If there's a track that you know, you can play a theme with maybe the OB6 or something. I've got pads on the OB6 just to throw you off a little bit, so that I can hide that MJ bass line in the background. Let's open up this, what we have over here. So, of course, 1, 2, 3, so there's a theme. This is the only music information that takes the chord structure somewhere else. Yeah, so we're gonna bass being mid ostinato, staying on the same sort of root note. This is where the music goes. And then the bass goes down or up. And go back down. So nice breakdown. Play around, filter, have a vote, put it on the filter, nice one, resonance a little bit. On it, making space. Nice. Filter it down a little bit. Kick in. Nice one. I'm liking the vibe, yeah? So it's pretty nice, it's all going in the right direction. You can contemplate your next move. Probably I'm going to go and take this out and play that other bass line here. The funny part is, if you play it well, the lowest culprit in the room is always going to be the boss. It's going to take like dominance over the other. So what we're going to do is hide this Michael Jackson type bass line and make it into a drum, so that this bass line that's playing right now is going to take over. So let's take out those two arpeggios, otherwise it's not going to be noticeable. Take it out like so. Take out the strings. Opening up this filter. Okay, listen to what's going to happen to Michael. Noise. Resonance. And envelope. Nice. Good go. I'm going to lower it to the point that it's going to start being family with the clap now. Listen. So try to get ingredients in your mix that can mimic themselves as something else. So now no one would ever know that this is the Michael Jackson bass line. So if you want to be smart and you want to be savvy, you know that the promoter is standing there, start like this and then open up the filters, and all of a sudden Michael Jackson pops up. You'll go like, oh, wow, okay, I didn't expect that, you know? Doesn't need to be Michael Jackson, it can be something else. But just think of cross-pollination, you know? It helps with inspiration for your track. It helps with getting yourself to go from one place to the next. Arpeggio, the fast one, of course. So I'm always trying to just like look for bass lines or something that can act as a drum as well. So if it's a drum, it's nice. Now there is something else that I've not used that I'm going to use now, because this is just beats. Let's take out this arp, lower this bass. Yeah, let's take him out. Kick out. There is an 808 tom that's going to help my groove considerably. Yeah, let's take out those loops. Okay, listen to this. Boom, 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 boom. Believe me, if you do this in the middle of your track, a drop like this with those toms on a big sound system makes an impact. People are thinking, whoa, there's a new track happening, there's something new starting in the music. No, it's not. You're just adding something, but you're making everything work. You know, every sound that you would hear, it needs to be there. If it doesn't need to be there, don't let it be there. Okay, kick in. Here we go. It's a simple concept, but it works every time. Now, to play a straight bass line like this would like take away from the groove I am, so I'll probably not do that. I'll probably just like see what I can come up with. Maybe play some pads over the top. Yeah, let's do that. See what we can do. 1, kick out, 2, 3, 3, 2, boo, yo. Time to the beat. Let's do the random one, because then it's going to do some sample and hold business. As texture in the background. Cool, take out a kick. We'll start focusing on, okay, what's next? I'm using the volume knob here. It's the simplest way to get stuff in and out. Okay, play that theme. Yeah, nice one. I need a little sharpness on this one, shorter even and higher. When the attack starts, almost instantaneously. Kick and fast arm. And make sure that your filters are working. Now that you got some sort of a now you can just safely get away with playing that straight bass line that's only 16ths. But we're going to take out the lead and we're going to stick in that bass. Making sure that this goes high, the subsequent, so you'll hear it. Switch here. Press in. Okay, motor arpeggio. That one's filtered down, so what we're going to do is enter that into the equation as well. So since we know what this plays, knows what that plays, we're going to make room for this one as well. Kick out, 1, 2, 3, lead. Still got your loops, so you can still go like, okay, you know what? Break down, 2, 2, 2, take this out, put the drums in. People have already forgotten about Michael Jackson here, right? You know? Okay, so what we're going to do, let's go back, take out the noise, open up the envelopes, lower the resonance. Kick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lower it down, here we go. How nice is that? Come on man, what's not to like here, right? Take this one out, team. Now we're going to wind it down. Simple as that. Take out the lead. Well, the Arps are your strong sort of like vibe, right? Now what I will do to make a transition is I'll take everything out that's playing on the black box slowly. So take that Arp out. First lower it. I'm going to mask this reverb thing that I've got on the octave track. Open it up. Okay. Take out the loops, take out the arc, and just stick with what I've got on the octave. So nothing's playing right now on the 1010 Blackbox. Well, so what I can do is obviously go into a different pattern set and just load a new one in, lower the faders, so I make sure that I can do that, you know, subliminally, and then just play a different track. And what you're hearing now is what's playing from the octave track and what's playing from the Akai MPC. We're going to take that one out, which means mute it here, 2, boom. And that's the trick. That tom is there if I'm lowering the subsequent, that you don't notice too much that I've taken this one out. I think this works best if it's some sort of a CIA kind of vibe, you know what I mean? It doesn't need to be in your face, but it needs to be very active and very efficient. So that's how I'm trying to just build this up. So this is what I've seen that a lot of promoters are just like, you know, they love it when an act or an artist can do something like that because it's got longevity, it's got something they can build up in the future, but make sure you explain to them what it is that you're doing, because it looks like you're just only doing stuff left and right, but you need to make sure that they acknowledge that you know what you're doing, right? Okay, I guess that is that. You having a blast, by the way. I'm liking this, I'm liking it. Let me know in the comments what you think, right? Yay. That's how I do it. That's how I've done it. That's how I've always managed to get a lot of gigs, and the people always like it. You know, that's cool. Also, you know, you have to understand, don't be a pain in the butt. You know what I mean? Don't be arrogant. Don't think that even if everything works out and you walk around with an inflatable head, just give yourself that time. Tell yourself, this gig was amazing. Look what I've done. And even if you just like played to the point that you were the biggest kahuna at the festival that day, you just turned everyone's head. Give yourself 24 hours to walk around with an inflatable head. But after that, you know, that is your entry level point for tomorrow. You know what I mean? Just next day, new thing, bam. What can you improve? Record your set. Very important to record the set that you've done, to listen to it again, and don't throw it out on SoundCloud as immediately, because if you're doing a live set and you're creating stuff on the fly, it's valuable stuff, you know, so hang on to that. Another video would be in the future, how to release your music also, but that's coming. All right. Now, thank you for watching. We're doing all our own shows as well with the Kitchen Club. I mean, this weekend we are in Rotterdam at a place called Worm, where we are teaming up with Happy Accidents, and the Happy Accidents crew are just people with modulars and stuff, and they just like jam it out, and they'll do a jam, and they'll see where they end up. So it's really cool. So the Kitchen Club being live or vinyl together with Happy Accidents, it was a combination made in heaven. So that's going to happen. I think there's still a few tickets. So if you're in Holland, if you're in Rotterdam, we'll be there Saturday night from 11:30 onwards. So that's also a cool thing to check out. Now, thanks if you made it this far into the video. Music you will find on Bandcamp. Don't be a stranger. Go and say hi in the comment section below if that is something that you're into. And I'd like to thank all the new subscribers for helping me grow the channel. If you want to get closer to me and make some music with me or with us in this community, that's possible. There is Patreon, obviously, and Patreon is a support platform where you won't be breaking the bank. There's a few tiers on which you can support me and the crew, and I've got that connected to Discord, where we all talk shop and we talk about what it is that we like, know, love, talk about modular, talk about this kind of stuff that I just spoke about today, how to perform, what to do, very important, what not to do. So that's also a cool thing. What is coming up in the future? We are going to make a community-based sample pack, which means that all my patrons can now make some sounds, and I will stick it through all my analog equipment here. I've got a Manly Massive Passive, there's a TG1 compressor. We're going to just really like tidy it up and make it cool, and we'll have that community-based sample pack that we created as, you know, patrons. What we can do is give it out to our mates with a discount, and it will, for people not really directly connected to the whole kitchen society, it will be available also not for like telephone numbers. But I think that that's a cool thing for us inclusive guys to do. So this is coming up. We're developing that as well. The mixer project is still on. I mean, I'm working together with Christian Vossen on that one. So we're looking at parts, ordering parts. It's not going as fast as I hoped, but it's going to be cool. So we're working on that. And in that light, we're going to put out some stuff on vinyl as well with the community. So making some tunes. So yeah, obviously it's a no-brainer to create our own sounds, right? So we can just all do that kind of stuff. So get on board, get into this community. I am so thankful for everyone that's really have been supporting me over the course of this development of this channel with everything. So thanks ever so much. Also, thank you for watching. If not anything else, stay cool, stay safe, and I will catch you next week. You know where? On another video. Analog Kitchen out!